They pocket watching like okay, they trading on me like okay. The bitch I'm with go both ways. Okay.
Welcome to episode 6 of the Meatzy Show. It's your boy Meatzy, and today we're going to talk about the Saints. It's always good to talk about the Saints. That's what we're here for. The Saints. Pelicans hired a new coach, but whatever, But we're going to talk about the Saints. Joining me again today over the phone is Ravi Shetye, owner of RS Realty Group and RS Appraisal Services, LLC. We're going to throw his little info up right here on the screen. Actually, it'll be on this side. And what's going on, Ravi?
Good evening, my brother. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday, my buddy. Happy Friday, dude. It's always a fun conversation whenever we link up, man. So let's give us
especially with another week down, bro.
another one down, dude. So what's that make? Like we had 17 weeks, so now 16 weeks to the start of the regular season. 16
Man,
weeks.
I can't wait.
You right. And we got Saints drama. We got bold predictions. We got the best picks for this upcoming season. And I just want to start it right here, Ravi. I want to start with Alvin Kamara. It seems like this is the biggest topic of the offseason. We always have something. The Saints are always going to have something during the offseason, and Alvin is the biggest topic. What do you think about, first off, Mickey Loomis's answer of just, hey, we're still trying to figure out the roster right now, and then more just seems like the good guy where he's just like, hey, we're just, we're working through it.
Yeah, I mean, such a loaded question. There are so many layers to that. Are you asking me that Alvin specifically or Alvin and Cam lumped together? Because they really are two separate situations.
Yeah,
friend,
and three, because Taysom's included in that, and that's a whole separate situation.
Right.
Let's go with the biggest one. 'Cause I think we understand the Cam and Taysom. Taysom,
Yeah.
let's start backwards then, because Taysom, I think we
Okay.
can both agree is gone. Correct?
Yes, well, I can tell you as a real estate broker that Taysom Home is on the market for the past 9 days. He listed his home, beautiful home in Old Metairie, but I was saying this somewhere the other day. I would be shocked if Taysom has even come to New Orleans outside of getting his home staged and ready to sell, packing up his stuff. When the season ended and he got hurt, he might have, stayed away from New Orleans since.
Yeah, I could see that. I can definitely see that. Um, that's a great point. That's a great point. Now let's now Cam. Now Cam is the other a third of the second, 2/3 of this, the second person. But I think we all understand about Cam really what it is, and that is he's got an offer on the table, and is he going to accept it or not? And if he doesn't accept it, we're fine walking away, and if he does, we're fine having him play. And I don't think that's going to really change.
Yeah, here's where I'm at with it, and it matters how they handle this, Meatzy. The outcome doesn't matter as much as how the Saints brass handles these two guys. They're the heart of the city. Got Alvin, you've got Cam in the community at 5 different schools a day at every Pelicans game. These two guys are the team. And if Mickey and the organization doesn't do right by them, it's going to be a major stain on this organization. It's going to be hard to recover from. In no world do I see it smart or sensible for this team to proceed without either of those two gentlemen on the roster. The Alvin situation, which you asked me about, the Cam deal, I think the Cam deal is less about dollars and cents than it is about time. Cam wants a multi-year deal, and that's investing in 2 years of Cam at his age, Meatzy. So, um, yeah, I mean, I would pay him the money. You have the money.
I got a lot of money right now. Got a lot of money, and even 54 million, I believe I read the other day, going into next year. So we like the books are open and we can do things. And my thing with Cam is like just give him what he wants at this point. And that's where Mickey doesn't, I don't think he minds being the bad guy in this whole situation. We can't give him what he wants because first off, we can afford it. And we haven't found the replacement for him. Like we keep signing these people from other teams. We didn't really draft anybody. We got the undrafted free agent from Central Michigan, who looks like he's going to be maybe the next Trey Hendrickson. But I mean, who knows? Like they're undrafted free agents, like I said on the prediction show the other day, and those work out just not very much. So for Cam, hey, if it's $10 million for 1 year, give him his retirement tour right here. Say, hey Cam, we want you back for this 1 year. This will give you a chance to retire. Every home game will play a video of you and how great you were for the city.
Right. And look, Meatzy, you have years of really messing up financially. I mean, I have lived watching them where it started with Davenport and then it spiraled once Sean was gone to these terrible draft moves that can literally set your franchise back pretty much a decade, 5 years to a decade with Peyton Turner to
Marcus Davenport.
Foskey, uh, Penning, just high round misses, and
a
that
lot of free
other
agent
teams,
misses. We're thinking about
yeah,
Jarius
yeah,
Byrd, Browner.
ab- yeah,
Even in the Peyton area, not to cut you off, but even in the Peyton era, we weren't financially good there neither. We had a lot of misses, and we couldn't pay everybody because we were so good. So it just kept us pushed against the cap, and that's why we only got one Super Bowl because we never could pay anybody on the defense to come and really shore that side of the ball up for us till Vilma.
Oh, I remember the days. It was like musical chairs. Who was starting that corner? I know. And recently, within the past, I think 48 hours. I don't know. Time has kind of blended in with work, but we brought in this edge, Anthony Jennings,
Mm-hmm.
and he's a Cam type replacement, but he's not Cam's level. And I was listening to Nick and shout out to Nick and NOF
Shout
and
out NOF, yes.
yeah, of course. And they were talking about where our defense stood in the run defense.
Mm.
And we were bottom 10 in stopping the run. I don't know the exact analytics on it. He had this AI robot, but that has to drastically improve. And one thing they were discussing on that show was we may have this whatever least hardest schedule on paper. I think all of that is BS.
Yeah.
That's why I hate even going down the schedule. Every game is hard, but if you look at the running backs this team faces this year, you need Cam Jordan on your team.
Yes. Yes. I mean, you start off with Jabari Gibbs. Montgomery's not there no more. You start off with Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry. The Raiders have Ashta Genty. And then you come back with week 4 to, we hate the Falcons, but they still got Bijan Robinson. You face 4 of the top backs in the first 4 weeks of the season. So we're going to find out real quick.
Yeah, yeah. You got to stretch, and you got an improved Genty in the second year.
In a Kubiak system that likes to run the ball.
System.
Kubiak,
Right.
I just found out today, Kubiak called Brock Bowers a football robot from heaven.
Teams average over I think it was like 4.5 yards against us.
Right.
That can't happen.
No.
If you turn around and hand the ball off 3 times, you have a first down.
Yeah, that's it.
And he is a tight end from heaven. Brock Bowers is an animal. They have Jack Betch too. Shout out Jack Betch.
Yep. Shout out to the Betch family. Yep. To the whole Betch family. Big shout out. All right. So let's move on to the one that's got everybody just like, what the fuck is really going on? Like, boom, gunshots, because it just seems like they just keep shooting at Alvin for some reason. And it just kind of makes no sense to me when you don't have another, like, how can I say, like another consistent backup on the roster besides Audric Estime. And what do you think's going
Right,
on with
right.
Alvin?
Yeah, I mean, I want to answer this the right way. Um, One, I have no clue. I don't think anybody really knows besides Mickey, Kellen, inside that organization, and Alvin. I don't even know if they're on the same page. But the way the narrative is about a guy under contract is extremely, extremely concerning. You already found the 50% loophole to get him down. Every time we have done that in a contract, found some way to reduce in a contract, it is to get rid of a player. When we did that, we were basically putting a for sale sign on Alvin's head. We didn't trade Alvin, we didn't draft a running back. There is no logical reason I can see as a football fan not to see this backfield. It would be such an injustice not to see this backfield.
It
And
would.
I'm trying to put myself and everything may be normal, a few weeks from now. Alvin's known for not showing up for OTAs and just doing his job on his own. It's widely reported. The reporters think it's a pay cut issue that they've got their foot on his throat, trying to get him to take a pay cut. Um, if that's the case, I don't know why you're splitting hairs. So if you've got to pay an expensive backfield to have that offense, your offense is going to be unstoppable.
Right.
And we can discuss that, but we are going to be a top 10 offense. It's
Yes.
a completely different team if Travis is your only back,
Right.
because if he goes down, you're back to what? Hoping Devin Neal is something and healthy?
Or Miller, or Kendre Miller, who
Yeah,
who
yeah,
can't stay.
right.
Now, I
I
will
gotta
say
see
this
it.
though: if Miller can stay healthy, Miller is electric. He really is electric. There's something about when that kid touches that ball to me that he's very shifty. He hits the hole hard. I don't know. I really like when Miller
He's
runs the
awesome.
ball,
He's awesome.
and
He's awesome. He falls forward. He's
yeah,
awesome.
and
He's
now
awesome.
maybe if he can lose some weight, maybe if he can, I don't know. I don't know what he needs to do. I always kind of go back to Tyrann Mathieu, and he talks about these soft tissue injuries in one of his podcasts, and he's like, if the soft tissue history or injuries is on you as a player for not taking care of yourself right. And while I'm on Tyrann Mathieu, what do you
Yeah,
think?
let's go there.
Yeah,
Let's go there,
what
brother.
do you think about the fact that Tyron said on his podcast that he believes, and what he heard from inside the organization is that Alvin kind of spearheaded the Dennis Allen firing, and Matthew was there at the time, so to me he would know, and that the Saints people in the Saints organization kind of have this like cold shoulder to Alvin for doing that and going kind of over their head to Mrs. Benson, Mama Gail, and like they still kind of hold resentment. And after Tyron said that, and then seeing Mickey Loomis's press conference at the Hall of Fame golf thing, and I was like, maybe that's it. Maybe that is it. And then, not to mention, uh, someone else said, I believe it was on NOF, that yeah, it was Nick Underhill that said that if they believe somebody he talked to, they believe that the Saints just didn't receive what they wanted in the draft for Kamara. So now they're still trying to figure it out. And I think it's both of those things. We didn't get what we want. We're trying to get off of him. And also we're trying to get off of him for the simple fact that he pissed off a lot of people.
Yeah, I mean, the Alvin that I see, and you and I have talked about this. I mean, this is a very layered deal here when Tyron opened his mouth. I mean, because my initial thought was if you and I are close, and they are, they're friends.
Mm-hmm.
Tyron kind of aired things out. I wonder how Alvin felt about the Honey Badgers comments, and and the Honey Badger's the Honey Badger. He can say and do what he wants, but if Alvin spearheaded that movement, someone else said this, but completely agree. They should build another bronze statue out front in front of the dome for him. Best move ever made, but the Alvin we see, that's not really how he moves. He punches his clock. He does his job. He handles his end of the street. Now behind the scenes, I don't know. Maybe that change needed to happen, and he needed to be the voice.
And
But I'm glad he
I
did.
honestly think that I believe Tyron's story for the simple fact that there was a demeanor change in Alvin as soon as Derek Carr became quarterback. And it was kind of obvious, and fans would see it, and fans started questioning it, and then like reporters started asking, "It's like, nah, man, I just come to work, I'm just dealing with it," and it was like, yeah, but we've been watching you since 17, and for the last 6-7 years, you haven't done that, and you haven't like had that look on your face that you have right now, and he had that, and it was just like, hey, look, this guy, yeah, y'all want him, but he's just not gonna do it, and then now we're here 3 years later, and it was like, yeah, he wasn't going to do it. He's the worst freaking person we could have ever had at quarterback to start with. And DA was the coach that should have never been the coach to start with. So at that point, I'm with Tyron on it. I think there's some animosity in the organization for it. And I think Alvin's the type to be like, I don't care what you want to do. Like, just let me know. I'm going to be ready to play football. And if I don't need to play football, it ain't no sweat off my back.
Well, I'll close that topic with this. If that is true, if there is any truth to that, then the organization is extremely petty
Petty.
and does not care about winning above all else.
Right.
Like diehard Who Dat Nation fans do.
And I can see that. I can see that too. And and maybe they think ATN's the answer, because we can go back to what Underhill said earlier about whenever they signed ATN, about how Alvin wasn't the kind of zone runner that Kelvin usually liked in his system, and it might be some of that, I know the drive and the play from Alvin still seems to be there. He seems still like he's trolling everybody. He's on the Armstead podcast doing his thing. Not, hey, look, I'm ready to play. It's not me. Basically saying it's not him.
He's saying and doing all the right things.
Yeah. So at that point, it is what it is. If my point with the both of them, though, I just don't like either. We should have ripped the Band-Aid off in February, March, or we should have had both of it settled by now. Like, to go into an off season and your controversy is the two biggest fan favorites on your team, with all the positive going around the team, with the shuck, with the build-up, with the drafting of Tyson.
It's a complete vibe killer.
Yeah, complete vibe killer. And it's just like, what the fuck is going on, man? And sorry for the language, but it is. What the fuck is going on,
it's
dude?
just unnecessary.
Yeah.
It's unnecessary to do the people that were so good to your franchise. Those are the people that put rears in seats when y'all were eliminated from the playoffs. That's who they came to see.
That's it, dude. That is it. I mean, Kamara would have a Super Bowl without the no call. So, whatever, dude. But we're going to take a quick break right here, and then we will be right back with more from Ravi. We're going to have some bold predictions and his best picks for the upcoming season. We'll be right back.
They pocket watching like okay, they trading on me like okay. The bitch I'm with go both ways. Okay.
And welcome back to the Meatzy Show. We joined by our guest Ravi Shetye. We're gonna keep talking Saints here. Just had a great conversation, Alvin Cam and Taysom Hill. Now, Ravi, why we got you here? What's your biggest concern biggest concern or need for the Saints right now?
Okay, so it's pretty obvious right now as you're recording. But I'm speaking in a hypothetical world, Meatzy, on all these questions where they make things work with Cam and Alvin comes back and everybody plays nice, and those two gentlemen are on this roster. Okay. Still, even with Cam, even with the addition at edge, even with the Raiders acquisition at edge, we have got to stop the run. So that's my biggest concern, but it's multi-layered. So my biggest concern, hear me out, because it's tied into stopping the run.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not worried about our defensive backs in terms of coverage. We're not playing the Rams type teams that are going to spread us out. We're playing more 13 personnel, two tight end, two, three tight end sometime teams that you know what's coming. They're going to run the ball down your throat with the pistol, and you got to stop them. You know,
Right.
Gibbs is a hard back to stop. Henry, even in our own division, we kind of held up the Falcons when it came to the run last year. But my major concern is the defensive backs and replacing Alante specifically. So, I'm hearing some reporters, I think it was Tripp, saying, in a worst case scenario, you hope this Emerson, who is the highest drafted player from the Browns that we acquired, who's a legit starting cornerback in the NFL.
And he had some good highlights. Like I know it's highlights, but the little
yeah.
clips that I seen, I was like, hey, the kid can play. Like this kid can ball.
Yeah, I mean, we need him to work out to where that's going to be one of the most fascinating battles to watch in camp that I'm going to be watching is Quincy Riley, 5th-round draft pick, versus Emerson, higher round draft pick, who's doing what. And so, if Emerson shines on the outside, they're talking about moving Riley to the slot. Then you may have a competition between Riley and Sanker. A lot of people are just talking like that Taylor, that star position has already been gifted to Sanker. I have questions there.
Right.
And that makes me wonder, should we have gone with Caleb Downs? And now the Cowgirls are going to get, you know what I mean? But I do love the Jordan Tyson pick. I'm not knocking it, but that is a hole to fill. I have to see it from Justin Reed. I have to see it from Blackman coming off a serious injury.
Serious.
And he was playing some of his best football when he got hurt.
I'm really interested
Julian
to
Blackman,
see
excuse me.
I'm really interested to see how Blackman comes back, because if Blackman comes back and he is anywhere near he was in training camp and he stays healthy, then we have the answer.
So that's the DBs. But then hear me out. You've got another void to fill in your defense, which is DeMario. I think Caden will do a great job of that. But I don't know if you saw, they also just did another wonky thing where they would reduce Werner's salary.
Yeah.
And he's like this guy that's pretty good at everything, but not great at one thing, and it's too often I'm seeing a tight end that's just a step ahead of him or a quarterback that's outrunning him. I think it's time to cut ties with him and, maybe lean harder on a Stallbird or Stutzman. But and the writing may be on the wall with them reducing his salary.
Right.
But I got to see more from Werner.
My problem with Werner is, and he makes a lot of tackles, it's just the tackles are always 4 or 5 yards down the field. There's never a tackle with Werner where it's in the hole or it's behind the line of scrimmage. It's like, oh, Pete Werner, he's all over the field. Yeah, but he's 5 yards down the field making the tackle. And that's my problem with him. Like, he's always getting up, but he's always – and then it's tackling from behind. I don't really see – you don't ever see Werner really tackling somebody head up. It's always a tackle from behind chasing somebody. Just like you said, he's always a step behind everybody. I'm interested to see linebackers as Stutzman. I think Stutzman's going to be good. I don't think he's going to be the stud that everybody wants him to be. And DeMario's absence is going to have a big, big, big impact in it. I'm more interested in Stallbird and think he
Yeah.
can have
Yeah.
the higher upside than all of them just from his play last year when they actually let him get on the field. Now, take for granted, you do have a bunch of other linebackers. You had DeMario, you had these other guys that was in there. Stallberg was coming kind of in there. He was cleaning up things. But the special teams plays what really stood out. Like, he's a baller. He's not scared to get in there. He's not scared to get dirty. And that's what you kind of need. And he kind of took up for JT Gray last year and became a fan favorite on special teams, because one thing about the
Yeah.
Saints, dude, we love a special teams player. Steve Gleason, Thomas Morstead, JT Gray. You can go back to Tyrone Hughes, returning punts,
Put in work, get it out the mud in special teams.
The beer man, Michael Lewis. We love. That's one thing about the Saints, dude. You can give us a good special teams player, we will fall. And that Taysom made his name on special teams. We loved him. We loved him.
Yeah.
If Taysom wouldn't have been so good on special teams, we would have wanted to get rid of him years ago for throwing 50-yard interceptions every time he wanted to try to throw the ball in the air. But his special teams, his running. So we love those. We love those things about it, and that's where I think Stallberg, like, really, if he can come through this year, and you can put him and Ellis. I'm not saying we're not gonna have a decline. You got a good point about decline right there, and that on that whole group. But I think Stallberg he could step up to where it's like, okay, Warner, we got a pay cut, we got plenty of money next year. Like, hey, go ahead and test everything out.
I'll say one more thing.
Yeah, go ahead.
My bad. I didn't mean to interrupt
No,
you.
you
I'll
good.
say one more
You
thing
good.
about Stallberg. I think he has earned the snaps. If you go back and watch the film, and I'll also say this, I fully trust Staley and I fully trust Kellen, but they can only scheme up the tools that are in their toolbox.
True.
If they don't have the tools they need for whatever job, which is the other team, we saw the outcome last year.
Right.
They didn't have the tools last year. They had one tool, Chris, and then they found Tyler, and boom, we're back. But Stallberg, man, I've watched a lot of Saints football, and it's been a long time since I've seen a linebacker that fast in the backfield. I mean, he was blitzing so fast. A lot of times he missed on his sacks, but I mean, I saw a lot of potential, and I think he's earned some snaps. I just think that whole core has to get the star position right. They have to get linebacker right. They have to get edge right with Cam, because right now you got Chase and Grando. One of them goes down. You've got a couple of free agent hopefuls. So yeah, that's my biggest concern. But I also do get and respect that. I think this was a 2-year build here once they realized they had a quarterback and a coach, obviously. And they treated the offense this year to all the weapons. And I think next year they'll go heavy on the defense and really go in hard that year.
And I think you're right. I think that's exactly where they would be headed with it. Only problem I could see possibly being there, if Staley takes a bunch of not unknown players, but underachieving looking on paper players to another top 10 finish on defense, then he probably won't be here to coach the defense again next year. Because
I'm surprised he's here this year.
Because it really is. It really is. And somebody's going to give him another shot. There's no doubt, especially the players seem to love him. He's taking water and turning it to wine, at the end of the day. And with no really big upgrades besides the Christian Wilkins pick at number 2 this year, anywhere else on it. We didn't. We got Ellis, but we went from DeMario to Ellis. It's kind of like an even trade-off. So without any major upgrades to that side of the unit and possibly losing Cam, if he can come out and even put a top 10, top 15 finish, what we think this offense is going to be, it's going to be another miracle. in my opinion.
Yep. Yep. If we're top 15, we're good because this
Yeah.
offense is going to score some points.
You're gonna have to score some points. Yep. And I that less than 20 points a game this year, that's gonna be out the window. We're gonna get
Oh, that's over. That's
yeah,
old regime.
yeah.
Look at this team on paper. The seed. This is about to be something like we've never seen before.
Yeah, I believe so. And Kellen's a good play schemer. Like he was working with nothing last year, scheming up some good plays. But so let's move on to it, and let's go ahead and let's just get your best picks for the upcoming season. And we're gonna start off with the Saints regular season win. Now DraftKings has them at 7.5. What do you think the Saints' win total is going to be? You going over or under 7.5?
Okay, so you got to take what I say with a grain of salt. Anything picking gambling wise, Saints oriented, because probably deduct about two from the number I give you because I'm a little biased. I mean, I think, I hate looking at the schedule and going over it like we'll do, but because I think we're gonna win every game, but until we don't. But yeah, I mean, I think that even where Vegas said it is really disrespectful and speaks to what they think about the Saints at 7.5. It also speaks to how hard it is to win a game in the NFL.
It does.
I think it was Nola Boy, somebody put like 13, 14 games. I mean,
Not happening.
come on, man. It's not happening. You're just not going to stay healthy long enough. It's a long season. But yeah, I mean, I think that number should be higher. I would say it's going to be a 10 plus win season.
10
Meaning,
plus.
yeah. If you hold me to a number, I'm saying 11,
Mm-hmm.
but 10 plus, definitely winning the division. Print the banner now. Lock that up. If I don't know what the odds are for NFC South. Every year, I take NFC South and NFC Championship. Lock up the NFC South. That is a lock.
NFC South, the odds are plus 265.
Yeah, lock.
So plus 265, and the over at 9.5 is plus 260. Now I'm gonna go with I'm gonna go with the over 8.5 at the plus 150 if I had to, because I think the roster wise, and I think you made a good point for me with your defensive breakdown that you just did. Roster wise, we're an 8 to 9 win team on paper.
Yeah, yeah.
In my opinion. Now win more, win less. Hey, you get a fumble, you get a punt return, you get something. The NFL is freaking crazy. It can take 3 plays. We was 4 plays away last year from winning 4 more games. When you think about it, you take 3 plays and my little 8-9 could turn to 10, 11, 12. There's really that possibility. So
Especially in this division too, and it
especially in this
matters.
division. So let's go to Tyler Shuck's passing yards for the regular season. Tyler Shuck's regular season passing yards over or under 3,649.
Okay. Yeah. So on this one, this was probably the hardest one for me to gauge out of all of them because one, we haven't seen a full season out of Tyler yet, right? But I will say, and I'm just crowbarring this in there, this guy is everywhere. I mean, I don't know if he has a PR person, but he is
They are
just
good though.
saying and doing all the right things for this city. I mean, Nick has said it. I'm going to second it. I really think we have something special here. Um, you know, you want to take the over there, but if we're as balanced as I think we're going to be and spread things around, I could see us still winning that many games, him going off and being at like 3550, 3500. I mean, because in Travis's best year, I think he had 1,600 all purpose yards. Travis is a factor, man. He's a savage. So he's going to get his. If Alvin's there, he's going to get his. Tyler's going to run for his. So that is a high number. That one scares me.
It is, but it's when you really look at it, he had 9 games last year that he started. He threw for 2,384 yards in
Yeah,
9 games.
and let me add one more thing. If you look at league trends, our error growing up, Meatsy, of the Marinos or even the Drews throwing for 400 or 500 yards,
It's over.
that's over with.
Yeah,
It's
over.
done.
It's done.
Defenses are too good. They play a cover two, or you're not getting over the top. So yeah, I would take the under on that.
I would go under too, and just bring into the point that I think these numbers were his was inflated because we were down a lot. It was 13-0 a bunch of times we had to throw the ball. I don't think we're going to be trailing or be down by big numbers in games this year to where it's going to be 40 passes, 50 passes a game.
I
So
don't see it. It's going to be so balanced.
yeah, so I think under. I'd take under. I could see still 35, 3,400 yards,
Yep.
20
Yep.
touchdowns, maybe 8, 9, 10 interceptions, something like that. But I definitely go under there. Well, let's move on to Chris Olave, and hopefully Chris Olave gets his extension before the season, which I think they will. Before he gets to camp, Olave will be paid. I think Olave knows that. That's why Olave's around the facility so much right now. But Olave's regular season receiving yards over or under 1,024.5.
All right. I'm going to crowbar this in here too, because it's related to the next two bets. So, my bold prediction, which we didn't get to earlier, we only had our concerns, but my bold prediction for this season is that both Chris Olave and Jordan Tyson are going to have 1,000 plus yards receiving
Mm,
season.
you mark it
And
here, dude.
yep, I don't even know if that's a prop you can find or make or whatever, but you can take that to the bank. Okay. Chris had like I think 11 and change last year, missing a game with the blood clot. He averaged 70 something. It's just going to open up more for him. And when you start talking Jordan, I have seen and watched a lot of good receivers. If this kid stays healthy, we have a superstar. Like they were saying on the T said show, I forgot, I think it was McCoy who said it, but he's got it absolutely right. I've watched his film. He's twitchy in a different way. His route tree, the way he extends in the air, we have a real problem on our hands. And I mean,
A good
nobody's even
problem.
really talking about, yeah, great problem. Nobody's talking about Moore's brother,
Hmm.
who is, I mean, when you look at him, he's like 6'5", 6'6", flies. I mean, I don't know how defenses are going to stop us, honestly.
Yeah, you make a good point. Olave had 1,163 yards last year, and he still was on pace for 1,000 even during the concussion year. And his lowest total, besides that, and during a full season, I hadn't played a whole full season, but for what we would call a full season, is 1,042. So with your take too, I think I'd go over there. I'd go over the 1024.5.
Yep, I'm going over there, and I think you still have room to spread the ball out and get you on his yards, get Noah Fant his yards, get your two backs to back out the backfield. It, Meatsy, even further proof why you need to just act right with Alvin. Guess who's the fifth leading receiver in Saints history?
Alvin Kamara.
Alvin Kamara. That is insane.
Yeah. Now,
But so, but
in
sorry, yes,
on,
I
on
would
the on
take
the
the
other on
over.
the other side of that though, Kellen's not a big throw to the running back guy. Even in Dallas, he wasn't. Even with Saquon, he had his little bit. He had his little bitty moments. And even in San Diego, they still were San Diego or Los Angeles Chargers now. But he didn't really have those big running back things, and I think that affects Alvin's game completely because he is that all-purpose guy.
Yeah, yeah. And I'm fine with whatever Kellen schemes up for this year. I think
Yeah,
it's going to be awesome. I
right.
think it's going to be
And
awesome.
maybe now that I'm thinking about that, and I said that though, maybe it's because Kellen knew that we didn't have the linemen to go out there and be running screen passes. You know?
Kellen is highly intelligent. He
Yeah.
knew what he was dealing with,
Yeah,
and
and I keep saying it too. I think everybody knew, that whole coaching staff and everything, that this was these last year especially was going to be a bust year, and it was like, hey, let's just make sure we get out of this thing alive, you know. And if something happens, it happens, and Shuck end up happening. And I think that's where we are right now, and it sped up the process years. It sped up the process. So let's move on, and we don't have to. We can skip over the next one. But Jordan Tyson's over under for his rookie season is over 774.5 yards. And you just said both of them, bold prediction, 1,000 yards. So that covers that one right there. And I would say over, because you've convinced me of it. Like, I can see us spreading the ball. I can still see Jawan having 700-800 yards, Oscar Delp having a couple hundred.
Mhm.
And at that point, with all the receiving weapons, do you even need to throw to the running back? So
Right, right,
when you
right.
think of it like that. So let's go on to offensive rookie of the year. Do you think Jordan Tyson wins offensive rookie of the year at plus 600?
I think that's a really tough bet to make. If I was like your financial advisor on that bet, and you asked me, "Hey, man, I'll give you my money. Pick the ROI of the
Right.
and uh, I would be hard pressed to make that pick because I just think Fernando and Jeremiah are going to be tough to beat. Carnell Tate, I think Jordan will be the best receiver
Hmm.
by far. Mackay will be productive. He'll have a great year. But
Especially with them
yeah,
losing AJ Brown.
it's going to Lover Mendoza.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
mean,
yeah.
unless Tyson just does some OBJ rookie year incredible numbers, and Mendoza doesn't produce off the bat, I think Mendoza is that good.
It's funny, they got Antonio Williams, Amari Cooper Jr., Carson Beck, and Jeridian Price up there with the other five that you just mentioned, and Kenyon Sadiq too. And it's I wouldn't have thought any of those would have been in the running, but hey, they always know something we don't know. So I'd keep an eye out for all those names if I was there. Now this is the last one before we let you go, Ravi, and we want to thank you for joining the show again today. Um, Jordan Tyson's regular season touchdowns. How many touchdowns do you think he'll get? You think he gets 6 plus, 8 plus, 10 plus, 12 plus?
Yeah, I would lean on the lower end there just to be safe.
Even with the
Six
red
plus.
zone.
Even with the red zone, there's so many mouths to feed. And then you got Tyler being another mouth. I mean,
Yeah, his
Tyler with
running.
his feet, don't sleep
Yeah,
on him running. Okay, y'all want to guard everybody, we switch all out wide, but I'll take it myself. And all Tyler keeps saying is, I'm just ready to let it rip. And that includes running.
right,
So
right.
to say he's going to have 8, 10, 12 touchdowns, yeah, that's tough.
Yeah, that is tough. That is tough, and that's a good point too. That's a good point. When I think of it, I think I'd go 6 plus at minus 130 there. Uh,
Yep.
just for we struggled with the red zone with the people we have, even with Shuck on the field. Now you add another weapon to that, and maybe it loosens up some people. But we have to get into the end zone when we're in the red zone this year, and I think that was another reason of us drafting him of because his big catch ability, his high point catch ability. A lot of his highlights, he's high pointing the ball, he's out jumping people. His brother's a basketball player, so it makes sense that the guy's got hops. Um, and that from that point, it's like I can see a lot of, hey, we need you to go Marcus Colston and go get it. And then him healthy, I don't know. I could see 6 plus there.
Can't wait.
Can't
Can't wait to see it.
can't wait to see it, buddy. Well, look, that's gonna be it, guys, for another episode of the Meatzy Show, episode 6. Thank you for joining us, Ravi. Thank you for coming on again. We really appreciate it, my brother.
Thank you for having me, Meatsy. As always, man.
All right, man. Well, thank y'all, and we'll talk to y'all later. Peace.
They pocket watching like okay, they trading on me like okay. The bitch I'm with go both ways. Okay, 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 okay. Locked in with a homie A.